The last time I recorded a video like this, a channel message like this, I didn't have this chair here. It was sitting by my door and I was using it to throw my coat on it when I would come home, and it wasn't really serving its true purpose as a chair. I was just like using it as a clutter spot. If you're watching this, then you are probably being called to acknowledge that there's a space that you outgrew. I wrote it down here. I said, or you're being guided to explore outside of that space to align with the next path. So going back to the situation where I was talking about this spot here, this chair wasn't here at first, but I cleaned up, I was organizing, and I was like, this chair would serve a better purpose in this spot. This would be like me allowing my space to go through an upgrade. Once you start with what you have and you clear out what just doesn't feel right anymore, then that is when that space is created to give you an opportunity for that upgrade. Before I put this chair here, I had a small little tote here that I was sitting on in the last video, and I didn't know that this chair would look so good here until I made space for it. So there is something in your life today that you need to recognize, that you need to leave alone, that you need to let go in order to create space for an upgrade. The universe, God, whoever you consider your higher source of power, is trying to bring in something into your life, trying to get you to go through this upgrade, but you have to make space for it to happen. You can't hold on to something old and just expect the new thing to pile on top of it. No, that new thing wants a fresh, clean spot. It wants to be able to go into this spot and really own it as its own, rather than trying to fit in that same spot with the old stuff. I was thinking about the idea of like letting go, because somebody had commented, I think it was on Instagram, somebody had commented, oh, letting go is hard. And I like sat with that a little bit. Okay, so I think we're all like kind of being guided to understand that it isn't the act of letting go that is hard. It's more so we find it hard to believe that better will come. And when I was like trying to find out the words of how to say this, I was also thinking about how like when we are younger, right, we accidentally pick up something that's hot, or let's start with that analogy. When we pick up something that's hot when we're younger, say we're like holding on to, say we go to pick up a cup, that's hot when we're younger, we immediately let it go. The moment we sense there is pain, we let it go. So it's not necessarily the letting go that is hard. We're conditioned to let go of things that are harmful to us, but it's the belief that we won't find a better alternative that makes us feel like we can't let go. In this moment, you're being called to like acknowledge what it is, because there is something better that's trying to come to you. There is a better alternative that is trying to fill that space up, but you won't know what it is. It won't be attracted to come into that space yet until that space is in a space to call it. I'm like space. It's all about creating space. All about creating space for the new things to come in. We're in the new year right now, and it's January and it's winter, and even when we're like thinking about nature itself and how the trees don't have their leaves yet, but they're creating space for when those leaves come in. You gotta see your life as working in the same way. You have to be in this space to release things, because in the winter things are being released. Well, technically in the fall things are being released, and then in the winter we're sitting in that space. We're sitting in that stillness of things not being there. And you have to be comfortable with allowing things to not be there, so the things that are meant to come in to fill that space can come in. And I think what's really uncomfortable for us is when we're looking at a space that used to be occupied by something and we see nothing there. We kind of get into this energy of, what is wrong with me? Why haven't I attracted it yet? Or you get into this energy of being like, it's never going to come in just because you don't see it. But the thing is, right now you're opening opportunity. The space needs to be there. You have to sit in this space and allow it to just be prepared. And right now, whether it's like maybe you're moving somewhere, maybe you're somebody who's like trying to attract a new lifestyle, a new person, whatever it might be, you're being called to not only release old things, but also be comfortable while nothing is there. Be comfortable while you have this ability, have this moment to just sit in an empty space, or even you might not even have to sit in this space. Actually, you could just allow it to just be a space, because before I put this chair here, it was just an empty space. The wall was just empty, and I was looking at it constantly, and I was like, there's nothing there. It looks weird, but I wasn't trying to immediately fill it with something. And then I had this idea, it clicked, this chair needs to go here. And how did this chair work in my life? This is perfect for these channel messages that I want to send out, because now I have more support. Hello. And even when you open up space for better things to come in, so I'm getting tongue tied. Even when you open up that space for better things to come in, not only is a better alternative going to come in that serves you, but it's going to be a better alternative that actually supports you. Before, I was sitting on a tote that had a cover inside of it, and sometimes I'm like, maybe this tote is going to give out one day. I don't know if it can hold my weight. But I was still like holding on to it, because I'm like, it's space. That's where it's supposed to be. But really, it was just giving the illusion that that's where it's meant to be, because I have made it that space, or have given it that space to exist. Sometimes you don't even realize when in your life just needs to switch, because with this chair, it was sitting by my door. Like I said in the beginning, it was sitting by my door. I was throwing coats on it. It was my clutter chair. I wasn't thinking much of it. There's something in your life right now that you have put on the back burner, or you're using for something that's like adding to your bad habits. So when I think about how I will always throw my coat on this chair, and all the things that I didn't feel like putting up, all the things I didn't feel like taking care of, I would throw it on this chair. What is your baggage chair? This is my baggage chair. Just throwing baggage on it and being like, I'll deal with it later. There's something in your life that you're being asked to look at, whatever that baggage chair is, whether it's physically or spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You're being asked to look at it, release, put things where they need to go, release, allow the space to exist so you can bring in a better support system. Because with this chair being over there, it was giving the illusion that I didn't need to put those coats up. It was giving the illusion that my coats didn't need to be in the closet. Like they were okay being thrown on this chair. But really, it was just feeding the bad habit that I have with not being organized, with not thinking too much about where I place things. You have to be very intentional with where you place things, how you store things, because that energy will reflect into you, like mentally and stuff. Acknowledge what it is that you need to release, that you need to look back at and be like, okay, there is a better way that I need to use this. This chair wanted to be a chair for my being. It wanted to be a chair in this channeled message videos. It didn't want to just be holding on to coats, holding on to bags I didn't feel like putting up. It wanted to serve its true purpose. Its true purpose of being the support system for Mayel, so Mayel can deliver these channel message to the collective, okay, to you. Also, let me talk about the fact that I wasn't even going to record this video today. I wasn't even going to record it because I was running out of time. But what ended up happening was something that I was being called to or something that was on my schedule to do instead of this got pushed back. So then time was created. Time for this thing was created. This week, honestly, just has been about allowing space to be open. When you allow space to be open, then things click. You understand where things need to go. You understand how your time needs to be filled. You understand what needs to be filled in your life, what needs to be taken away in your life. So today, recognize what space can you give yourself. Allow yourself to recognize what is being called for you to release, what is being called for you to acknowledge is no longer serving a purpose. And how can you bring in a better support system? What in your life can give you a better support system if you just allow it to exist and serve its purpose that it is truly meant to be aligned with?